As we're rounding up to 1 o'clock, I will go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Kelly McElligott. My picture is on the screen. I'm the Library Accounts Coordinator here at Bywater, and we're going to talk about Koha today, both the staff side and the OPAC. And I am joined today by Jessica Zaro, who will be monitoring the chat. If anyone has any questions, feel free to go ahead and throw that into the chat box. And Jessie threw in the YouTube channel for you. We can share that link as well when we send out the recording. Okay, we're going to start with the Koha OPAC, and this is going to give you an idea of how customizable that the OPAC can be and how you can fit the look and feel of your public-facing catalog for your patrons and match that with your community. Bywater Solutions has a nice blue tone. So we're showing our Bywater logo and some colors, but of course this is very, very flexible. And what you see here, a lot of it is customizable. The top area, if I scroll down the bottom area, the left area where we're sharing some links to Bywater Solutions and some art tutorial videos, but this is something that you can customize. We are using this center area to really promote some material within the library. So we've created some lists on the staff side to highlight fiction, nonfiction, and our staff picks. Who doesn't love a good staff pick? To be able to allow folks to see maybe something new in the library itself. As your user goes through, they're able to click over to each of the topics. If they go ahead and pick a book, you're going to get a little pop-up and get a nice description, and then they can go ahead and go further and look at that more, easily place a hold or say, nope, I already read that. This search the catalog will allow your user to just go ahead and do a basic keyword search. They can do multiple words at any time. And Koha is going to go ahead and push that relevancy up as it puts those words together, finding the most relevant results on your within the catalog. Now, I'm a patron logged into this catalog currently, and I'm able to see the material that my library has, but also material that is available electronically. So my library has both a Hoopla and an Overdrive, and these are being connected via API. So you don't have to load those records in as the library staff. They're getting pulled in by real-time availability. So if I go ahead and say, oh, I can search within the Overdrive collection, I am not leaving the Koha OPAC. I'm able to actually see everything that I could check out, place on hold within the Overdrive collection of my library, which I really liked that. Let me go ahead and log in. So I've gotten logged out. So there's my checkout button. Earlier today, I saw that I could place a hold on something if it's not available. So you do have that functionality. And again, it's all built in. I don't have to go to another site to search my library's collection. I'm going to go ahead and just do that love again and go to my full catalog results so we can look at some more details within the catalog. You do have those facets on the left that allow you to refine your results if you're looking for a specific, like an audiobook format or a specific author, you can do that. And in the center here, I have a nice view of all the titles, a bit about the material, whether it's available or not, and then the options that I have, such as place a hold. I could create a list as a patron, so something that I want to come back to later on if I wasn't logged in, or even if I was logged in, I could go ahead and add that to a temporary cart. If I go ahead and click into a title within the system, I'm going to get a bit more information, get a summary. I'm going to see where it is if I'm a multi-branch system. So here I'm logged in. My main library is the main library, and I can see that it is currently ordered. This is all customizable. So depending on what your library would like to show to your patrons from that item look, you can certainly do that. As a multi-branch system, I also have my other branches listed. So under other holdings, I can see that there is another copy available at the East Branch, and that is available. Over here on the right-hand side, I'm able to easily go ahead and place a hold. I could go ahead and send it to a device. So I could go ahead and scan it for a QR code. So I want to store it for later, or I'm walking into the library. I need to remember that call number. Lots of variations to be able to use those options. If your library has a connection with Novelist Select or Syndetics, your user will have that integration built right in. So again, if this is not available, it's on order, I can go ahead and look at similar titles within the system and be able to find something right now. If I do decide to go ahead and place a hold on that request, I'm able to pick my pickup location. If I'm a multi-branch system, I do have some options where maybe I don't need something after a specific time, and then I can go ahead and just confirm that hold. What I love about the OPAC, it's going to bring me right over to my patron summary. So then I'm able to see everything else that I have on hold, and maybe some overdues and some current checkouts potentially on my system, which is usually the case. So it's going to bring me right to my patron account. I can see the titles that are checked out. I can see the due date. If I can renew those, I do have that option to renew right from the system. I can see how many renewals I have left, which I love, and I can go ahead and pick and choose which ones. I also can see right from here that they are renewable. If they weren't renewable, it would tell me, or if it was on hold, it would tell me, which I really appreciate. Any holds that I have on my account, I can see here. I can easily suspend or freeze a hold if I'm headed out of town to get away from all this winter feel. I also have the ability to see anything that I have checked out or on hold in my electronic resource avenues. So my overdrive accounts, I'm able to see what I have checked out and what I have on hold. So it looks like I have a nice True Love magazine checked out, and then I have Gone Girl on hold again. I mean, it's probably been like 20 years. It's probably time to reread it. It's considered a classic at this point, I'm sure. Over here, yeah, making myself feel old here. Over here on the right-hand side, your patron has lots of options, and these are truly customizable. Changing the passwords. If they can see their checkout history, you can have that as an option for them. You can remove that option. Lots of choices. Holds history. Oh, gosh, love that. If you want to be able to allow your patrons to place purchase suggestions, this is built into the account summary, but I truly love it up here at the top. Having that option really kind of in my face to say, hey, let's make a purchase suggestion, because I know the library doesn't have it yet. It's the new Jenna Bush Good Morning America book of the week or whatever. So I do have the ability to make a purchase suggestion. The great thing about a purchase suggestion is going to send it right over to the staff client. Staff can manage those. Notices can be automatically sent via Koha to that patron when it's accepted, when it's ordered within the acquisition module, and when it's received. Some great customization of those courtesy messages. So I'm able to opt out maybe of those check-in notifications, but I do want to opt into my hold notifications. So I have the ability to pick and choose what notices I want to receive within the system, as well as doing that SMS if my library wants to do that. I said earlier that the staff can curate those lists, and we showed those front lists, but I also can have lists within the system. And when I'm logged in and I'm able to look at my lists and then go ahead and say, okay, I'm ready to cook some more, and I want to place some more cookbooks on hold. I can't have them all at the same time, I've decided. Let's pop back over to our home account. I really like one more thing before we head over to the staff client, because I have very limited time today and I want to show you everything. I have a nice user summary over here on the right-hand side. So once I'm logged in, I'm able to see all my checkouts, all my holds, and any messages within the system. So I easily can tell, hey, I have some overdues or I have some holds waiting. So that's really fantastic. Lastly, for all those, really power users within your OPAC system, there is an advanced search feature, which allows your users to go ahead and say they're looking for Stephen King's It book, or so they're able to pick an author and a title, or an author and a format. I'm a big fan of Louise Penny, and I only listen to Louise Penny on audiobook, so I can easily go ahead and make that search, picking and choosing the options within that advanced search. And then I'm easily able to see what is written by a Louise Penny and is on audiobook. Okay, well, we're going to go over to the staff side. And pop out of here. I think my screen is really small. I was not even at 100. Okay, there we go. Maybe that's a little bit better. Okay, this is the Koha staff interface. We are on a web browser. I don't think I do much outside of a web browser anymore. Really, everything's a web browser. It is available through Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari. It's mobile responsive. So if I have an iPad, I have a really large screen, I'm on my tablet or my cell phone, it is mobile responsive. I'm able to access my staff client anywhere. If I had to work from home for a day, I do have that ability to log in. If you can work from home. If not, do not log in from home. It's not good for you. Home is home. In addition to it being web-based, it's also permission-based. So every user on your library staff will have their own login and permissions attached, which really, truly makes staff workflow more efficient. They're able to get to all the modules that they need to get to, remove the clutter. And if they never go into the acquisition module, that button for acquisitions will not even appear, which I really like. Less clutter on the eyes. But today I'm logged in as a super librarian, so I have access to everything, so we can go and see all the different areas. During the training part, if you migrate to Koha, I shouldn't say if, when you migrate to Koha, you will have access to your test site, which has all your own data, because you're going to export that and we're going to put it on a test site. And then your staff is able to really explore what your data looks like on Koha. And, during training, we usually let people use super librarian permissions so they can see it all. Maybe they get really excited about adding the calendar dates and when you're open and closed, and you can assign that permission to a specific staff member, that they have that ability to do that, or, create lists for that OPAC. Just like the OPAC, the staff client is customizable as well. We've integrated our Google Calendar into the staff client, which would allow the entire staff, once they're logged in, to see this calendar. This is visible to everyone. When I worked with a Koha system in a public library, we had a little comic that was put on to the staff client once a week. So that was always fun to see what new comic, usually Calvin and Hobbes, was put onto the screen, and it would really kind of bring a smile to your face. We also have some other areas that allow you to add notifications or alerts. This is giving us an alert from Bywater Solutions that our system is going to be upgraded, this red one. And then we have some quick link reports that allow me to easily head over to run a report. So I have a little drop-down menu, and then I'm able to go ahead and click those reports. So lots of flexibility and customization that can happen just from that main page of the staff client. Now, remember when I was making talking about purchase suggestions, I said those purchase suggestions would send right over to the staff client, and there they live right here at the bottom, in addition to other kind of integrations between the OPAC. So we have you can report an error on the OPAC, and that will report back to the staff client. If you're allowing tags to be tagged on things in the OPAC, those would be approved, and then those purchase suggestions. So a great integration, and really kind of alerting you right at the bottom here to know that something's going on. This top bar is always going to be with us wherever we are. So it gives us access to all the modules within Koha. If we were in the serials module, I'm still able to use all these top options and go anywhere within Koha, really saving me some clicks. Because it's a web browser, I can easily create more tabs. In my library, I was tech services, but if I was at the circulation reference desk, I could still continue to catalog in one tab and then also do reference questions at the same time in another tab. So I'm easily able to do multiple things at once if that's kind of your niche. But sometimes we just want to search the new books in the catalog. In addition to this top bar, you also have a search bar right below there. And, I'll stay here in a moment in the serials module so you can see my search bar is completely different. This is geared towards serials. It's saying, hey, would you like to search by ISSN or title? And then I also have other options within the advanced search. So I have different options with that search tool depending on the module I'm in. One other area that I want to point out is this help button. Wherever I am in Koha, that help button is going to be at the top right-hand corner. It's going to bring me right to the manual and allow me to find exactly what I'm looking for and screenshots and step-by-step instructions. The Koha manual is updated twice a year because we're going to be upgraded twice a year in Koha. That is going to be online and available to anybody. You can bookmark it, or again, you can access that right from your staff interface. We're popping back to the main page, and you can see that center search bar is different than what it was in our serials module. It's really the cursor's flashing right to checkout because, hey, we're a library. We like to check books out to people. So as I start typing the name, or I could directly scan the barcode of the patron's library card, first name, last name, first name, it doesn't matter. I am going to get a pre-populated list of names that I could pick and choose from. For multi-branch library systems, I love this. It's going to highlight the branch of the patron that matches the branch that I'm logged into. So you can see at the top, I'm logged in at the East branch, and it's going to give me my options here, what other patrons are at the East branch. I can go ahead and click right through. Of course, if I had scanned that patron's barcode, it would bring me right here. I wouldn't get a list of options. That was a direct link. This is going to bring me right to the patron's account. You can see my cursor is ready to start scanning books. Start scanning the books and we're good to go. A little bit here on the right, you're going to get some patron information, name, address, category, any pertinent information for the library to know about. And then, wow, this patron over here has a lot going on the right-hand side. Maybe this person has some overdues, has some holds waiting, which I truly love. So then I'm easily able to grab those holds and not let them walk away without those. And then the staff have the ability to add notes and messages to the staff interface communicating about this patron and or sending notes over to the OPAC. If I scroll down a little bit, I'm able to see all the checkouts to this patron. In red, they would be overdue. All the titles here and even the barcodes are linkable. So I'm able to easily go, again, open in a new tab if I wanted to, and see this record itself. For whatever reason, I'm intrigued, or the patron had a question, or wanted to find material similar to that, I'm easily able to pop over to this record and then use maybe these subject headings, which would drive my search to find more dinosaurs, juvenile fiction, which is what her son probably loves right now. I'm also able to easily renew or check in right from this screen. So you can see I have Koha has already helped me out and pre-checked my little check mark to say, hey, did you want to renew this? Because it is overdue. Koha also has the ability to automatic renew material for the library. Libraries can set that up by circulation rule. So that can be driven by a patron category. It can also be driven by an item type. So maybe books can be set up by automatic renewal, or by residents or non-residents. It's up to you. So you have lots of flexibility there. I can see any holds that are on hold for this patron, where they are, the status, and any information. And then I can also cancel holds, suspend holds, and change the pickup location for that patron right from here. I have lots of options, and this is going to be everywhere within Koha. You're going to have options at the top, so you can see I have, the ability to edit this patron, change this patron's password, print receipts, search to hold. I mean, come on, it's amazing. And then I have things over on the left that I'm able to see fines and fees for this patron. My favorite is notices. I can see every notice that is sent to this patron and when it was sent and how it was sent. So here I have a hold available for pickup as the East Branch. If I click it, I'm actually able to see the entire message that was sent to my patron and also resend it if necessary. If the patron didn't get it, I'm able to resend that. But I can see that status right within the system and able to see what time it was sent. That would help them find it in the spam if they needed to. Actions are logged within Koha. So with the right permission, you're able to see modification logs and what was modified on both patrons' accounts. You can see modifications on notices and reports within acquisitions, within cataloging. From the patron module, I'm able to see, hey, look, I renewed this item earlier today, and I again have things that are clickable, but I do have access to those modification logs right from the screen. I also love the integration with purchase suggestions right from the patron account, because we know that there are going to be patrons that don't log into the OPAC and you want to be able to place a purchase suggestion for that patron. You can do it right from the staff interface. And if they did it on the OPAC, you are able to see those if they had any questions about them. Okay, I'm going to pop back over to the main Koha page. Lots of functionality from this search bar. We started at checkout. If I had books to check in, I can do that. Renew. I could search the patron database. I can also search the catalog. So let's go ahead and search for the ever popular, Colleen Hoover. I'm sure your librarians are just over the moon with how popular this self-published author is. It's a little bit like the search results on the OPAC, so a little bit of similarity. You have those facets on the left, you get your search results, but with the right permissions, you have lots of functionality here. I could go straight to holds. I could edit that record. So if I had cataloging privileges, I could edit it, and I could also see it in the OPAC. I get a small brief record here, and then I can see where it lives over here on the right-hand side. I have functionality up here, my favorite. So I could go ahead and click those and then make some modifications. So batch modifications, I could batch delete these, batch edit these. I'm going to move these over to my bookmobile or even merge those records. If I did find that I had a couple of the same records, I could merge right from this option. I'm going to go ahead and just click this because I really want to show a few options that you have when you're looking at a bibliographic record. You are going to see some great information that's going to help that reference, looking for those subjects. Easily can go over to the OPAC in the new window. Didn't we just have that option over there? We did. Koha likes to give you options on different pages of the same thing, which let me tell you is really a time saver, completely a time saver. I can see the holdings, which we saw in the OPAC. I can see the item type, where they live, last seen, data sessions. Holy moly. Descriptions, that's in the 500 field. If this was ordered in the acquisition module, I would be able to see those acquisition details. If it was ordered, if it was still not here yet, I could see all that information. Novelist Select is also integrated on the staff side. So I'm able to, in my reference interview, assist the patron in finding more material, maybe similar titles. If I needed to edit the record, I could go ahead and easily, oh goodness, look at all these options, edit the record right from here. This is going to allow me to use what Koha calls the basic editor. And it's allowing me to go from mark fields, in the hundreds, so the 2xx's, the 3xx's, and make any modifications. This is very mouse driven. So if I needed to put something in the 366, I can click that and it's going to bring me right to that section. I could still use that scroll option as well. Koha also has what is called the advanced editor, which would allow me to do my edits a little differently for all those maybe OCLC users that are more familiar with all the kind of compact records, just showing me what has information in it. This would allow me to make any edits from here. What I do love about the advanced editor is there are macros that you can create and share within your library system for things that you're always putting into a record or to save that time, such as RDA. Hopefully we're almost over this like RDA hump where most records you're getting do have that RDA, but we've created a macro that says, hey, just pop that into the record if it doesn't have that. Look at all that time it's saving. That's a lot of, text into a document if necessary. I also would get any alerts if I wanted to save this and there was an error, which happens to me more often than not. I won't talk about that. And then I also have some keyboard shortcuts, which would allow me to remember how to insert the delimiter. Maybe that's one of my problems. I can't remember the keyboard shortcut. And I also have the ability to change those shortcuts if I wanted to. So maybe keeping that kind of in line with another system I'm using so I don't have to remember two different ways to do it. Both through the cataloging module and the advanced editor, Koha does have a built-in Z39.50 server. So right from this advanced search option or advanced editor option, I do have the ability to go ahead and search the Z39.50 for a record to bring it into my system. Koha has quite a few by default in the Koha system. However, you can remove and add some more depending on what your library collection needs and getting those records from the right source. I'm trying to remember. Oh, I got one. If I go ahead and search, the library has predefined what targets they would search by, by fun, just usual, or you can go ahead and pick and search some more. Depending on what you're looking for. This is really helpful. Then I'm given the results. So if you are using a Z39.50 right now, this is probably similar where you go ahead and type in the ISBN or a title or author, and you're able to see those results. You can see where it comes from. When I was technical services, I definitely had a preferred library where I get my cataloged records. Specific to children's or adults, depending on what I was cataloging at the time. But I can see right here a little bit about the record, and then I have some choices whether I want to view that mark or directly import it. Viewing it is going to give me the option to go ahead and look at it, and then I could go ahead and directly import that into the system. If I go ahead and do that, I'm actually seeing the record that I brought in from OhioLink, and then I can make any edits that I find necessary. I might remove things, might run a macro, make some edits, and then when I'm ready to go, I can go ahead and save that to the catalog. Look at that. See, I told you I was going to get an error. Always. Oh, I know why. I'm missing my 003. I'm the worst cataloger ever. If you go ahead and view that, then I'm able to see the record that I just brought in. Sadly, I don't have a cover image because I'm missing an ISBN. So that record I got from OhioLink wasn't as great as I thought it was. If there is an ISBN number in your record, Koha is going to search 3 different places for a cover image. It's going to look in Amazon, Google Books, and Open Library using the ISBN. If I did have that, and that cover image would populate for me. However, I also have the ability to import my own image. So right from here, I have this image tab and I can upload an image right from here, or I have the ability to upload an image under that edit option. Of course, I can at any point go ahead and make another search through the Z39.50 and grab a different record, and hopefully one that has an ISBN using this replace record via Z39.50. Once we've brought that record in, then we can go ahead and add the item information. And this allows you to go ahead and really personalize the item. Where does it live? What kind of format is it in? When did we get it? How much should we pay for? This is completely customizable for the item template and is driven from the framework. You can certainly remove things or have a different template per framework you're working for. I don't think I need much. There we go. Add and duplicate. I could add 10 copies at the same time, and Koha is going to do all the hard work for me. Down here, now that I've added that holding at the bottom, I do have some more options here on the right-hand side. I have the ability to look at the mark, the ISBD. I can go straight to the item detail. This is my nice view for circulation folks when they don't have access to all the item detail, but they're easily able to mark something lost, mark something damaged, mark something withdrawn. They could go ahead and add a public note or a non-public note. So you have lots of functionality. Again, permission based on what you can do right from the bibliographic and item information. You can see I have a nice modification log as well right from here. So again, if I have the right permissions, I'm able to actually see all the modifications that happened, brought in this bib, and I've added an item. Super helpful. I'm going to pop over to the tools module just so you can see a lot more of the kind of actions that Koha can perform through this system. This center area is more cataloging options. You can do batch operations, delete a whole bunch of things, modify a bunch of things, both at the item level and the bib record level. I also can export a set of data, either my whole database or just a specific range, and send it over to whomever. I can create an inventory within the system, and that, I love the inventory tool because it gives me the ability to either scan some items and throw that barcode file into the system, or have Koha tell me what I should be looking for and then bringing it over into the stacks with me. Remember, this is web-based, so I could have it on a little tablet, a little cart, and I'm able to run that report, marking things seen as I go. Koha can create labels. So both your spine labels, your barcodes, if you needed to do a book plate, Koha has the functionality, and you put in that information of the size of your label, the font, and how you want that set up. If your library is receiving MARC records via a vendor, you do have the ability to stage those right into the system, load them in either from the stage MARC record for import or through the acquisition module, depending on your workflow. This would easily allow you to bring in a batch of records, or if you're using OCLC connection, you can directly export those records right from your OCLC right into Koha with a click of a button. A couple of other areas that I find are really great. Your notices and slips. All notices and receipts that you print up in the Koha system are customizable. So you're able to identify what is something that you want to show on a slip or something you don't want to show on the slip. You're able to identify and add that information in. This will give you all the notices and slips that Koha creates. They are built in for defaults, which, who doesn't love a good default? So you have a good base of what you're looking for. For example, your holds available for pickup. You go ahead and edit that and we can look at it. You can see what is here. Maybe you wanted to, make a little announcement at the bottom, or you wanted to add your phone number. You can always add and take away more information. I really, really like that. We had a lot of libraries want to add that cost savings at the bottom of their receipts. Again, easily able to customize and add that. Koha is a support company, so we are here to support libraries as they work through the system. You can certainly do this yourself, but of course, Bywater would do any of these customizations you needed at any time. That's what we're here for. Koha also sends out 3 overdue notices, and you can set those up by patron category and identify what notice you want to be sent and how overdue you wanted that. That is something that you can easily set up by patron category and say, hey, after so many days, go ahead and send them an email or an SMS. Can you imagine getting an SMS overdue? I only want to get an SMS that my hold is available. No other reason at all. I get a text message. Other tools that you have, as I mentioned, the calendar. Who doesn't love a good colorful calendar? This was my favorite job, where you can go ahead and set open and close days, repeating holidays. You can go ahead and do this, which then Koha will know when things shouldn't be due. If you do want Koha to follow the calendar, if you do charge fines, whether you want them to charge fines on days you're closed or open. So this is a great way to identify what your calendar is. This is something that you can do by branch if you are a multi-branch system. You also have this nice copy holidays to all the branches, so less clicks if necessary. Okay, we're doing okay for time. There's a few things that before I head over to like the admin and reports, I did want to show you my favorite part of Koha, and that's the item search. I call this the project search. Now, of course, we have a basic search. I typed in a book, I get my results. Advanced search, I type in my parameters, audiobook before 2017, and I get my results. An item search is really what I call a project search, which would allow me to really narrow down on things that I'm looking for that I might not necessarily find in a regular search. I can look at everything that is ordered within the system or withdrawn in the system. I can also look by a specific field, ISBN, collection, but then I also can build my own custom search fields. Maybe I wanted to see everything that was suppressed in the system. So everything that I was hiding from the OPAC, I can go ahead, run a search looking at that specific mark field. So in this case, it's the 942N, and I'm able to do that. I also can look for a call number range. Hey, I could say, look at my whole collection and what hasn't checked out, in the last year, and I would get that result. Once I make a search within the system, I do have a way different look than I had in the other search. The titles are still all clickable, but I'm getting a kind of different view. I'm seeing barcodes, I'm seeing statuses, I'm seeing number of checkouts, and if it's checked out, the due date. I can organize these by column. So if I didn't want to look at my titles the A to Z way, I could go backwards. I could look at the publication date and reroute that. I can also send my results to a CSV or a barcode file. And that barcode file is amazing because then you can do those batch operations we talked about earlier, batch deletions, batch withdrawals. You could create a list with these reports. Then I also have this edit, so I could go further and edit the item or edit the record. We have a lot of ordered. We have 469 books that are ordered in the system. I think we probably need to clean that up. So just another way, and now we'll do the technicals to say, well, that's like an SQL working in the background of your item search. No, it just works. Don't even think about the SQL. You're running that report and getting the information you need without doing any of the SQL work, which I'm a big fan of. As we talk about SQL, though, let me tell you, Koha's reports are so robust. You are going to not only want to learn SQL, which I'm not great at, but know that the ability to run a report and get the data you want is there. Koha has the report, a Koha community library report, which is going to give you over 700 reports that other users have created. You can go ahead and just copy and paste that SQL right to it. So if you said, I wanted to look at all my course items, there's that report already run for you. Copy and paste. Bywater builds in about 50 saved reports by topic. So you can see the topics at the top, and then any reports that are in your system, you can go ahead and run. If you know SQL and you love it, you can create an SQL report right in the system. Koha gives you access to the database schema, which would allow you to see all the tables within the database and how those tables interact. Good grief, lots of chat today, huh, Jesse? We're okay? Okay, good. And then we have a third out of 4 ways that you can create an SQL using a MANA database. Another great community aspect that would allow me to see reports that users have shared in this knowledge base that I could go ahead and directly import into the system. I mean, it couldn't be easier. Finally, in the best way, or the easiest way, is Bywater Support will write a report for you. So do not think that you need to learn a whole nother programming language to get the information you need. The resources are there. However, we are also there, and that's the most important part. If we go ahead and look at the reports in the system, we're going to see a name, kind of the module that they're in. Well, this one looks fun. Oh, lifetime checkouts. Let's see. I had one I was going to run, so I should just stick with that one. Here's a weeding report. Let's see what it is. The parameters are really something you can work with if you're looking for a specific, this is items acquired before. We might want to do a checkout before today. I didn't get anything. Let's try one more time. Oh, I know. There we go. I had the dates wrong. This is going to give you some great results. You can download any report. You can have any report emailed to you, run on demand at a frequency and emailed directly to you. So you have to remember to run it the first of the month. Koha also gives you the ability to look at the items and go directly there. So you can see this item number allows me to view it or edit it. I can certainly adjust any of these columns if I wanted to. And then I also have the ability right from here is to make any modifications to these if I wanted to send those into those special tools we talked about, batch item modification or deletion. I can look at the SQL. I can make any edits I need. My favorite is the duplicate. I can go ahead and say, I want to change this record, this SQL just a little bit. Any report that is pertinent or, helpful in a chart format, you can certainly create a chart. Those charts are exportable as well in an SVG file. So really helpful to make your, board reports nice and colorful. Back to saved reports. Any of the reports, these are permission-based, so you have the ability to run them. If you have that permission, you can search your reports. So you have a search function here. You can see all the information that's being stored here. So those are all searchable fields. I love the reports in Koha. The last stop on our Koha tour, we're going to head over to the administration module, just for a wee bit to know that Koha is completely customizable. During your implementation of Koha for your library, we're going to go through a lot of the system setup, your branch, what item types you're using, those shelving locations. But we also give you the tools of the knowledge that you can do it yourself if you decide to create another branch in the system, add another shelving location. The power is in your hands if you so want it. You have the ability to make those changes yourself. You can see here I have item types, the item type setup, but you can also go ahead and add another item type, making something have a check-in message, have a default replacement price, what the image looks like if you want that to look like that, if it is something that's not for loan or hiding in the OPAC. A lot goes into that implementation, and we're here for you through that process to make sure your items come over to Koha and they're appropriately designated as necessary. You have patron categories, which allow you to, in essence, assign patrons into different categories, making it so you have a certain registration period, what messages they're getting, can they see their checkout history, do they have an expiration for their password, I mean, the list is pretty endless in the setup of just patrons. However, we're here for you through that process. You can create as many patrons, as many item types as you want, and those all work together in the circulation and fine rules. You're allowed to, as a multi-branch system, create your own circulation and fine rules, your own hold policies. If you charge fines and your other libraries don't, you have that flexibility within the circulation and fine rule matrix. Other things in the administration, I talked about Z39.50. You can add your own targets right from this page. There, Z39.50. We have audio alerts. You can turn on audio alerts. We talked about frameworks when we were cataloging. You can create or edit any frameworks within the system. So this allows you to have a lot of customization and flexibility. Lastly, we have global system preferences. This allows you to be able to turn things on, turn things off, make rules within the system. We talked about purchase suggestions. Maybe you have a limit on how many purchase suggestions somebody can make. We talked about tags. Maybe you want to turn those off. You can turn those off. All of those live within the system. Of course, during your migration, that will be a large conversation that's going to be had to talk about that. So as we talk about your workflows and your circulation policies and how your library functions, we're going to talk a lot about those system preferences and set them up as we go. Now, we're at the time that I have to end this today, but I do want to say, I'm going to put up my the next couple webinars coming up because we've got some good ones coming up. This is something that we are recording, so we can send this out. I think that Jessie was very busy in what she was